And we are live. Yep. 3, 2, 1. We are live. Hi, everybody. Welcome to church. Welcome to Wednesday night church. It's gorgeous Wednesday night, the 27th of May. Good to see you. Hope you're all okay tonight. Hope everybody's well and healthy and fit. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to look again at the message I began last week. It's the second lockdown message for Wednesday nights. When I finish preaching, don't log off and don't move off your computers, because when I've been preaching, we do have something else. The girls are back in town. Yeah, the girls are back about 7:30ish or thereabouts, and tonight we're going to be talking about eschatology, soteriology, Christology, Primarchology. Okay, just to kind of keep in the picture. It will be fun. Some good times ahead. So don't tune off as soon as I finish preaching. Just keep online. I'm sure you'll enjoy tonight. It's going to be good. It's always good to be in church during the week, to give you a midweek boost, to give you something, just to give you a bit of a boost during the week in case this week you're tiring and you're flagging and you're getting weary. Just something to keep you going until Sunday again. Okay? So I'm talking the second part of something which I can only describe as it's a lockdown message, and it's blessings in disguise. Okay? So it's blessing in disguise too, and it's taken from a Bible verse which is in Hebrews chapter 13 verse 2, which you mentioned last week. Can you remember last week? Yeah. Well, if not, then hopefully this verse will remind you. And I am aware that last week I don't think I got to any points at all. I don't think it was one point. It was mainly laying a kind of foundation, laying a base, just an introduction. So this week I'll make up for it with a couple of points, and that'll give you something to write down your notes. But Hebrews 13:2, very well-known verse, but Hebrews 13:2 says, the writer says, "Do not forget to entertain strangers. Yeah. For by doing so, some have unwittingly entertained angels." Have you got that? Some people have unwittingly entertained angels. So what does that mean? Because you're probably thinking, like I thought when I very first read this message, well, I haven't seen an angel. I haven't been visited by an angel. I haven't heard an angel. I haven't seen an angel walk through our front door. So what does it really mean? And so when I began to look into it, what I think it means is this. I'm not talking necessarily about an angel in the physical sense. But what I think it means is God has blessed some of us, but we didn't know it, right? So God, because it didn't look like blessing. And I think I kind of outlined in detail last week what that means. God has blessed some of us, but we didn't know it because it didn't actually look like blessing. It wasn't dressed like something that would help us. Are you with me? Yeah. So it was like entertaining an angel, unwittingly being visited by God and unwittingly being blessed by God, but it wasn't dressed like something that would help us. I wonder how many people tonight can relate to that you've had what looked like bad things coming into your lives and things that didn't look like blessing coming into your lives. But afterwards you think, you know what, that thing really helped me, although it didn't come dressed like a blessing. It really helped me, and it really blessed me, and it really lifted me up. So bear with me tonight. You see, I think this is an important thing to say, that some of us, myself included, some of us have mistaken intervention for interference. Okay? Some of us have, I'll explain this, have mistaken intervention for interference. We thought that heaven was interfering, was spoiling with our plans. We thought God had spoiled our plans and messed up our plans, and we got mad, and we got disappointed, and we held our heads in frustration, and we lost sleep, because we thought that God was interfering with our well thought, our well laid out calendars and plans. But actually, heaven was intervening, not interfering. Do you see the difference there? When somebody intervenes in your life, it means that they're coming in to help you because the path that you were going on wasn't the right path, or the choices you were making were bad choices. There's a difference between somebody intervening in your life and coming in to help than somebody coming in to interfere with your life. Have you got that tonight? Well, that'll give you something to chew on for the next couple of hours, because there's a difference between intervening and interfering. You've had many people in your life who have interfered in your life. They've been nosy, they've wanted to know secrets, they've said, tell me, they've come in with all kinds of comments and all kinds of criticisms and all kinds of advice and all kinds of bias. And what they were doing was they were interfering. Anybody out there tonight, is somebody interfered in your life? You see, what I'm talking about is this. I'm talking about when God intervenes in our life. Some of you have had divine interventions that look like interference. Yeah. Are you with me? Some of us have been visited by God and touched by heaven and visited by heaven, and we thought that God and heaven were interfering and spoiling our plans, and we get all defensive, we get all mad, and we get all frustrated, and we throw our hands up. But actually what was happening is this. Heaven was interfering. Heaven came down and interfered in our lives because our plan was actually rubbish. Have you got that? I'm not trying to be rude to somebody, but the plan that you had was actually rubbish. Okay, you thought it was a good plan. You thought this plan is really going to move me forward, and this plan is going to promote me, and this plan is great, right? But actually, what happened was heaven had to intervene because the plan that we had was rubbish. Heaven had a better plan for us. Can somebody tonight say amen? That you've discovered that maybe the plans you had, although they seemed good at the time, and it was a great idea, but how many of you had great ideas at the time? And then when they didn't work, you look back and you say, thank you, God, those things that I planned didn't come to pass, and those things I planned didn't work. And because heaven had a better plan for us. I want to tell you tonight, if ever God intervenes in your life, if ever God comes in and changes plans and changes direction, it's because he has a better plan for us. It's not because he's interfering. It's not because he's trying to spoil. It's not because he doesn't like us anymore, right? It's because God has a better plan for us. Yeah. Now, we learn that through time. We learn that through experience over years and years, that when we think the plan that we've got is going to be a good plan, and it doesn't happen, and the dreams that we have don't happen. It's not because God doesn't like us. It's because God loves us and has a better plan for us. Yeah. Are you with me? Yeah. You with me? That's okay. God was interrupting. Let me put it this way. God was interrupting our diary because he had a better diary for us. The appointments we had in our diary, we thought were good, and we thought were set in stone. But God says, hey, listen, I've got a better diary for you tonight. I've got better plans for you. So he changes our diary. Anybody tonight can identify with that? Anybody tonight can say, well, that's happening in my life. I see that now. I see that my plan really wasn't a very good plan, or my plan wasn't really well thought out, or my plan had all kind of holes in it, but then God stepped in and God intervened in my life, right? We entertained unwittingly an angel of God, unwittingly a move of God, unwittingly the hand of God, unwittingly the hand of heaven. Is anybody tonight, let me ask you this question. Is anybody tonight honest enough? Come on, you're man enough, you're woman enough, you're honest enough to admit that we've got a bit moody and we've got a bit tetchy. Please don't leave me on my own tonight on the stage, right, admitting I'm the only one. Anybody admit that you got a bit moody, you got a bit tetchy, you got a bit pet lippy, you got a bit babyish, and you even question God because your plan got ditched. Yeah, come on, yeah, you with me tonight? Your plan got ditched, and we got all huffy, and we got all moody, and we got all twitchy and questiony and all that kind of stuff. You see, Proverbs 14:12. Proverbs 14:12 says this. Proverbs 14:12 says, there is a way that seems right to a man. It seems right to a man. But then the Bible says, but its end is the way of death. So there's a plan that seems right to us, but if that plan had come through, right, which you thought was a good plan, and you thought it was God's plan, you thought it was the best plan, if that plan had come through, it would have ended in disaster. Is that right? The plan that you had, the dream that you had, the appointments on your diary seemed good and seemed okay. It seemed right, but actually it would have ended in disaster. It would have ended in a downturn. It would have ended in a valley somewhere. You see, God has, let me put it like this, right? God has saved some of us from career death. What do I mean by that? God has saved some of us from career death. Yeah. Because looking back behind you, the job wasn't right. At the time, the job wasn't right. You weren't ready for promotion. So God had to intervene in that plan and say, that's not the plan I've got for your life. I've got a better plan for you. And so the plan that we had, God has saved some of us. You can stand tonight, you can testify tonight, you can say, that's my story. God saved you from career death because you weren't ready for that promotion or that job move. So God has saved some people from financial death. Because if you'd quit that position according to the way you felt, or if you changed jobs at that time, it would have left you broke now. You'd have been broke now. You might have been bankrupt now. You might have been insolvent now. Because you felt like quitting that job at that time. You felt like changing jobs at that time. Just being practical tonight. But God has also saved people. There is a way that seems right to a man, but the end thereof is death. God has saved some people tonight from spiritual death. Yeah. Are you with me? God has saved some people tonight from spiritual death. If you had moved away with that great career move and taken that opportunity, we've seen this happen as leaders in church. We've seen this happen to people who have been tempted by the opportunity to earn loads of money at the expense of their spiritual life. You see, if you had moved away, if you had taken the opportunity with loads of money, you wouldn't be in church now. Come on, some of you wouldn't be in church. Some of you wouldn't be watching this now because you'd be doing something completely different. You'd have been taken up with a career that meant loads of money and moving around the country and never been in church. You wouldn't be serving now. Can you see what I mean tonight? Yeah. That God actually saved you by denying that move and by denying that prayer, by saying no to that prayer tonight. Yeah. God actually saved you from spiritual death. God tonight, on a really practical level, has saved some people from physical death, from dying too early. Do you remember the time that your car wouldn't start? And you got all huffy and touchy and moody, and you ask God, well, I don't understand this, God. Your car wouldn't start, or your car broke down at the side of the road, or the train you missed, the delay you had. Have you ever thought like that maybe God intervened in my life to save me from physical death? That the thing we thought at the time, you see, we didn't recognize it at the time. We just thought that God was playing tricks on us. We just thought that God was not happy with us. We just thought maybe that God was a bit angry with us and didn't want us to get on that journey. Well, looking back tonight, many of us can see how God has saved us. Yeah. We've been in that situation sometimes. Mm-hmm. A few years ago, on the way to conference, we set off for conference all full of enthusiasm, only to reach the first roundabout we came to out of the estate, and the car just conked out. A brand new car, about a year old, 2 years old, 18 months or something like that, and nothing wrong with it. I'd been nothing wrong with it, and this perfectly good car at the roundabout just stopped, dead in its tracks. We had a hotel booked, we had a lunch the next day booked, we were on our way to conference. It was good. We were there to pick up Dan, on the way to pick up Dan, and the car just stopped in the middle of the roundabout. Like, how would you explain that? And we got all nervy, and we got all kind of, ooh, what's happening? I don't understand this. But maybe looking back, God saved us from physical death. God actually, we may well have been on our way to an accident going down the conference, or something, or some tragedy, and God stepped in. Can you see tonight? Can you see tonight how, looking back, God intervened. God stepped in. We unwittingly entertained angels and heaven and God, but at the time we didn't know it. And maybe there's somebody tonight, let me try and help you with this. Maybe there's somebody tonight who's going through something tonight, right now. You're in the middle of a situation, and God has said no to your prayer, and God hasn't answered your prayer. You didn't get that job move. You didn't get that promotion. You didn't get that upgrade. You didn't get that thing that you prayed for. And tonight you're wondering, why didn't God answer that prayer? Why didn't God meet me? Why didn't God give me that new job and that promotion and all that financial stability that would have come with it? Why didn't God give me that prayer? Can I tell you tonight, looking back in 6 months, 12 months' time, you will thank God that you did not get what you prayed for. Yeah. I'm telling you. Yeah. You will look back at the end of the year, you will look back and you will thank God, and you will praise God that God did not answer the prayer. How many people tonight are grateful that God did not answer your prayer at the time? Yeah? How many people tonight? Yeah. That God didn't answer your prayer? Let me give you a point, okay? I better give you a point. I promised to give you a point before we finished. A few minutes yet. Point number one is this. This might help somebody. We can, because I just sense, I don't know why, tonight I just as I prepared this, I sense that there are people out there who are disappointed. You're disappointed. You know that God answers prayer because he's answered prayer before. But in this instance, just recently, it seems like heaven is silent. It seems like your prayer is hitting a brick wall. It seems like God isn't answering your prayer. God is saying no to your prayer. God isn't giving you what you want. I just sense like there are people out there, somebody out there who's disappointed because God didn't give you what you prayed for and what you asked for. But in a few weeks' time, in a few months' time, you will understand why. Okay, so I'm trying to say tonight, you will understand why you are experiencing an intervention by God, but at the moment it doesn't look like an intervention by God. Okay, let me get to point number one before you tune off. Number one. Everybody say number one.
Number one.
Can't hear you. Number one.
Number one.
Number one.
Number
Thank
one.
you. Okay, calm down. Number one, how many people know this tonight? We can judge people and things by how they look to us. Okay? So we can judge people and things by how they look to us. And I've got a but coming. Okay? We can judge people and things by how they look to us, but how many people know tonight things can be the opposite of what they actually look like?
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, isn't that true tonight? Mm-hmm. We can judge people and things by how they look to us. And some of you tonight are judging maybe people and things by how they're looking at you right now, but actually things can be the opposite of what they actually look like.
Yeah.
And I'm embarrassed to say, and I'm sure that you're embarrassed to say tonight, if you are honest enough, that we have misjudged people who we thought might be odd. You know what I mean? Like starry-eyed and odd, like really dressed odd, spoke oddly, looked a bit odd, sounded a bit odd. Maybe he's a bit too friendly with you. Maybe he's a bit too loud with you. We have judged people who we thought might be odd or even enemies. So I've got to give a let's say a confession tonight. Okay, an embarrassing confession tonight, personally. And this is how stupid we are sometimes. Okay. I'm totally being transparent. We as you know, on occasion we have been known to visit this place called Starbucks. Okay, you might have heard of that. You might not realise that, but yeah, we have visited Starbucks for years. A couple of years ago, and I know they don't watch this, so they don't even know about this, so I can talk quite freely. But a couple used to come in on a Saturday morning, and some other times, and I've got to admit, they looked a bit odd. Right, they looked a bit odd. Just kind of, didn't they? No, nobody's siding with me tonight. I'm on my own. Anyway, I thought they looked a bit odd. Right, I thought they looked a bit odd, and I thought they look a bit weird. And when they kind of sat down on the sofa next to us or behind us, I thought, and embarrassingly, right, I judged them by how they looked and how they acted, and embarrassingly, when they would try and be friendly, and I would kind of put my head down when they came past, because I didn't want to get caught up in the weird conversation and the odd conversation. Come on, I'm being honest tonight. It's got to happen to you. Come on, surely it's happened to you when the girls are laughing. At the time, they said the same thing, right? So don't just leave it with me. I'm the one on camera, but they're actually, and Callum, I agree. They looked a bit odd. Like, they had like backpacks on and things, and just, I was a bit suspicious and unfriendly. And then one Saturday morning, it's okay, I know they don't watch this, okay, so I've got nothing to worry about. One Saturday morning, as I did, I carried the tray for all of our drinks, for everybody's drinks. Okay, it was piled with frappuccino and every other chino you can think of, cappuccinos and all kind of these big drinks. And I've done it every Saturday morning for like a million years. And this one Saturday morning, I carried the tray up, and as I put it on the table, everywhere, seriously. Everywhere you could imagine, all over me, all over the floor, over the shoes, the drinks just fell off and just splashed everywhere. Guess who came to my help? Guess who were the very people who rushed forward with kitchen roll and with napkins and alerted the staff? Guess who came to my assistance? Yeah. That couple.
Shame on you.
The couple that I had judged. Come on, you must have done it. Don't just leave me high and dry here on this stool on this Wednesday night. You must have done it. You must have judged people by how they looked and how they sounded. Come on, you don't admit it tonight, but I know you did. I know you did. Because we're human. And the very people. So guess who are our really good friends now when we've been to Starbucks? Yeah, they're not odd at all. They're an amazing couple. They're dead interesting and dead friendly. And I never forget the time they rushed to help. Yeah. First ones to rush and to help and to help us get new drinks and everything else. And much to my... So I learned a lesson that day.
Yeah.
And many, many, many times I've learned a lesson that you do not judge people by how they look. You don't judge people how they sound. You don't judge people how they act. Because they can actually be, have you got this? Are you getting the message? Yeah. They could actually be an angel in disguise, a blessing in disguise, God helping us in disguise. So don't judge people tonight by how they look, act, sound, how it feels to you. right? I learned that lesson the hard way,
Yeah.
and it's an embarrassing story, a true story. Come on, before we finish tonight, let us believe for some things tonight. Let's do this, okay? Let's together as church, and if you're watching tonight, you don't go to church, you join in with this as well. Why don't you and your family believe? Why don't you in that house on your own tonight stand with us? Come on, let's believe tonight for 4. Let's believe tonight for 4 things in these strange times, okay? In these strange times, looking back on what I've said, let's believe tonight for 4 things. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Number one. So if Henry was doing the things on screen, he would say 1 of 1, okay? 1. Point number 1 and point number 1. Let's believe tonight. I am really believing for this for you tonight, and for our family, and for us tonight, for me tonight, that something great can come out of something that looks bad.
Yeah, come on.
Well, why don't you believe for that tonight?
Yeah.
Instead of us complaining and whinging and whining and beating our heads and holding our head in our hands and shouting and screaming and going moody and huffy and all that kind of stuff. Why don't we instead just believe, just stand and believe tonight, stand strong together and believe for something great to come out of something that looks bad.
Yeah.
Okay? It looks bad tonight. Everything around us might look bad tonight. God might not have answered your prayer. You might still be sick tonight. You might still be unemployed tonight. You might still be single tonight. You might still be broke tonight. You might still be struggling tonight. But come on, let's believe tonight. God can do something great out of something that looks bad.
That's good.
Who can say amen with me tonight?
Yeah.
A Pentecostal hallelujah. Number two. Before I get to Pentecostal. Number 2. Why don't we believe tonight for a second thing? Number 2. Why don't we believe tonight for something unnatural? Okay? For something supernatural to come out of unnatural circumstances. If you're taking notes tonight, I will repeat that. Why don't we believe tonight for something unnatural, something supernatural, which God specializes in, to come out of unnatural circumstances? Because the circumstances around us right now and for the last few months have been far from normal, have been far from the natural flow of life. Every single person in the world has been affected by something unnatural. So instead tonight, instead of trying to work it out, instead of looking at all the whys, which we'll only be able to do in years to come, history will show us why, and we'll know why later on, perhaps. But right now, in the middle of it, why don't we just believe that God's going to bring something unnatural, and God's going to bring supernatural out of unnatural circumstances? Come on, somebody with me tonight? Amen. Number 3.
Right.
Almost done. Number 3. Why do we believe tonight for something unique to emerge out of something that looks unusual, scary, and strange? Let me repeat that again. Why do we believe tonight for God to do something unique with something that looks unusual? We've already touched on that. Something that looks scary. Something that looks strange. Let's believe for God to do something unique and something new, and maybe even, dare I say this in faith, a once in a lifetime move in your life through something that looks really scary, and through something that feels and looks and for life has become very strange. But let's believe for God to do something unique. Why would we believe for that? Why believe for that? To allow God to do something in our lives that he could not have done before. Okay? To allow God to do something in our lives that he could not have done before, because of where we were before, because of where the world was before, because of the situation that we're in before, because of how we were and felt and as a people before. He couldn't have done what he's about to do in your life. Which brings me to number 4. Number 4 fits in with number 3. So number 4 is this. It's a question. It's a question. I kind of thought about this today quite a lot. And many of us have prayed for a long time for God to do something new. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Many of us have prayed for a long time, certainly as leaders we have, for God to do something fresh in his church, for God to do something fresh in people's lives. We have prayed for so long for God to do something wow.
Yeah.
Have you done that? Have you prayed for that? And here's the question. Here's the question in the next minute or 2 minutes. Here's the question. How can God do something new and do something fresh and do something wow if we are in our safe zone? If we are in our familiar zone? If we are in our comfort zone? If we know everything? If everything is predictable? How can God possibly do anything new and do anything fresh and do anything wow when we're in a safe zone, a familiar zone, a comfort zone, and if we know everything, and if everything is predictable? Right? How can God do that? How can God do something new then? You see, I really believe this, and we've experienced this so many times, and I guess you have, that for God to get our attention, okay? For God to get our attention, for God to get your attention tonight, God has to do 3 things. So here's some more, my final 1, 2, and 3, okay? God has to do 3 things. This is really going to mess your notes up tonight, because you've already had 2 number 1s. God, you'll get this. By the time I finish, I promise you'll understand this. Maybe you'll understand tonight. I'm doing this to help people who are disappointed, who don't understand. And I'm saying this tonight to help people just to try and understand where you are, to try and understand why God said no, to try and understand why God intervened in your life. Okay, that's why I'm doing this little session tonight. To get our attention, for God to get our attention, he often has to, number 1, he has to shock us. How many people have been shocked over the last few months? Shocked at how this virus thing has spiraled out of control. Shocked at how extreme things have become. Shocked at how hard it is. Shocked at the suddenness of it. The beginning of March, everything was fine. We were going to football matches. We were having coffee. We were sat in restaurants. The theatres were full. The cinemas were full. The football grounds were full at the beginning of March. And then suddenly, everything closed down. Device was stayed home. Everything, that was a shock. If it didn't shock you, it shocked me.
Yeah.
It's to realise I just couldn't go out on that following day and expect a coffee shop to. I couldn't go to the cinema.
Yeah.
Couldn't even go for a drive to the beach on the following day. So God often, to get our attention, he often has to shock us. Number 2, to get our attention, he often has to upset our balance. Upset our balance. In other words, shake us out of our predictable. To give us a bit of a wobble. Anybody had a wobble recently? Hey? You've had a wobble. When's the last time you had a wobble? You know what I mean, don't you? You were upset out of your balance, out of your routine, out of your normal, out of your predictable 9 till 5 every day. Your balance was upset. And suddenly we found ourselves not in our comfort zone, but in new land, in unfamiliar territory, in indifference, and God upset your balance. Well, I'm telling you what, you will be thanking God. In a few weeks' time, in a few months' time, you will thank God that He upset your balance, that He shocked you, because He got your attention. And finally tonight, for God to get our attention, He often has to, number 3, He often has to shake us. He has to shake our world. He has to shake our life. Anybody's life tonight has been shaken.
Yeah.
You've been all shook up. You've been shaken by this lockdown, by this meltdown, by whatever, lock in, lock up, all this kind of, you've been shaken mentally and physically and spiritually. And God tonight is saying this. Oh, there you are. I've got your attention now. God is saying, I tried to get your attention for a few months. I've been trying to get your attention for years. I've been trying to intervene in your life. I've been trying to get you to surrender. I've been trying to get all of you. But you've all been too busy. You've all been too preoccupied. You were too focused on your diaries, too focused on your calendars. You were stepping in. Some of you were bored. And so tonight God is saying, well, you've been shocked. You've been upset. You've been shaken. And there you are.
Yeah.
Can you understand now, some of you?
Yeah.
How this is a new move of God in your life. How this can be a new move of heaven in your life. How God can be intervening. I'm so glad that God is intervening in my life. It's not the way I would have chosen. But God is saying to me, there you are, Dave. I've got you now. And God is saying to you guys, like, there you are, Andrew. There you are, Dan. There you are, Becky. There you are, Danielle. There you are, Dot. There you are, Aileen. There you are, Dave. You didn't like being shaken, but I've got your attention now.
Yeah.
I can speak to you now. I can bless you now. It's a blessing in disguise. Can somebody say amen tonight? Has God got your attention?
Yeah, it's good.
He's got mine. Hey, I'm done for tonight. Don't forget, if you like this, let us know. If you didn't like us, then just keep stum. Don't let us know. But if you liked it, please let us know. Please let us know how it's helping you tonight. Sunday morning, this Sunday morning is a brand new message. I've had enough of being in the middle of the bridge. I want to jump off sometimes. So now I'm moving on from that to a brand new message this Sunday morning. It's along the same kind of lockdown theme and where we are, but it's more about where we are right now, okay? Where we are right now. So 11 a.m. Sunday morning, and in 1 minute the girls are going to come and the girls are going to just talk a little bit. I know some of you are looking forward to that more than you look forward to me.
No.
Right? No, you're supposed to say no to that. No. Okay, the comments are supposed to say no, dear. We came in tune to you. So hey, listen. You know how people say the camera puts 4 pounds on you? Right? Okay, they haven't been eating cream cakes, and they haven't been eating donuts, they haven't been eating desserts, they haven't eaten biscuits and crisps. It's the camera. Have a great night. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you Sunday.
I want to move enough room to sit down.
Expand the camera, Colin.
I hope you saw my reflection in there. I'm so big. Right. At home with the Matthews girls. One of them's a Wyers now, but she'll always be a Matthews to us. So here we go. It's great to see you. Wasn't that good tonight? Wasn't it really, really good? Come on, let's look spiritual, girls. Wasn't it good, girls?
Amen. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord.
Oh, honestly, we just thought we'd like to come, get back in kind of touch with you again and just from our house to yours, just connect for a few minutes. And so we've decided again to do a couple of kind of a question and answer thing. We were going to do Mr. and Mrs., but Dave wouldn't join in.
No.
So he just said no. Callum wouldn't join in.
No.
He said no. So you've got the 3 girls again. So, I mean, I am quite used to speaking to you, as you know, but these two aren't. And so just before we started, they were going, oh, I can't do it, I'm going to be sick, I'm going to vomit. I'm going to be fine. And so we've already told them the questions. It's only a few questions, 3 questions really. Well, 3 lots of 3. So you might be here a few minutes. But what we thought we would do, I'm going to put my sign down. You don't need to look at this all the time. What we're going to do is just, I'm going to ask a couple of questions to both Hannah and Grace. And I'll tell you now, Grace particularly at this moment could throw up. But she will be fine. She will be fine. Okay? So I'm going to ask, the first one is a little bit like we asked the last time. But what's been the hardest thing? Because lockdown now has gone on, hasn't it, for weeks, longer than we probably ever thought. I think I thought initially a few weeks we'll be back to normal, but we're not. So what, for you, I'm going to ask Grace first so she can get it over with, out of the way. What's been the hardest thing for you in lockdown, about lockdown?
I think spending time with family.
Has been the hardest?
No, not spending time with family.
Right, roll it up
See?
now.
I thought you were the hardest thing's bit. I'm like, what? I said that before.
No, I mean like not spending time with loved ones and family.
Yeah.
Like having that time.
Yeah, I totally get that. Moving on quickly to the other London now.
It has been hard.
What's been the hardest thing for you about lockdown?
I think not seeing my friends.
I
and
thought you were going to
family.
say Caleb and Faith again.
No, especially Becky Matthews. Like I told her I would not mention it last time.
Especially Becky. Yeah, we've missed Becky. Hi, Becky. Is that it? Oh, is that the answer? You don't.
Just Becky.
Come on then. This one is a good one. I think being in the pastor's family, it can be good and it can be bad, right? Like most families, really. But in church situations, being in the pastor's family can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. So I've been on the other end of it. I've been a pastor's kid all of my life. I'm still a pastor's kid. Even at my age, I've been a pastor's kid. So I know what the pastor's family is like from the other side of things. So I'm going to ask Grace, what's been the hardest thing for you, not during lockdown, generally, about being a pastor's kid?
People from church expect a lot from you.
Yeah.
So I hate being the centre of attention, like on stage. I would just die.
It's because she's so ugly, isn't it?
But I think like people expect you to like, why you're not on stage? And it's like, well, I don't want to. I don't want to. Even clothes you wear, I've been criticised for wearing a flipping One Direction t-shirt. A crop t-shirt.
I didn't mean to say flipping
Censor. It's before 9 o'clock. You're right.
But like,
No, I get that. I get that.
Yeah.
They expect you to be perfect and like prim and proper on stage.
Yeah. I absolutely get that. What about you, Hannah?
Probably exactly the same. You can't really have like an off Sunday. You've always got to.
Yeah.
Then I mean, we've got to live up to Dan. Him to follow.
She loves that.
Dan's perfect in every way.
Yeah, true.
Not everywhere, but 99.9% he was a very good child. So were you. And you know what? We're all different, aren't we? We're all different. When me and my sister were growing up as pastors' kids, much as I hate to say it, but she will agree with me, I was like perfect child. I was the child that did everything right. I wanted to keep everybody happy. I'm still a little bit like that. And I wanted everybody to be happy. I wanted everybody to like me, to want me. Alison was a little bit different. She had a little bit of a rebellious time. Didn't last for very long and she came through it. But you're under scrutiny all the time, aren't you? You can be. And sometimes that is really, really hard. We are going to come to some good things though, but I'm asking the hard things first. So what's been the hardest thing you've had to face so far? Now I know Grace isn't, 95 like I am. So she hasn't had a long life so far. But during your life, what would you say, Grace, has been the hardest thing you've had to face?
I don't know.
She said she don't know. And that's good.
I haven't really had
That's
anything that's
fine.
like.
That's true. I mean, I would make it up, but you
Yeah.
don't have to.
Not yet, anyways.
Exactly. That's fine. What about you, Hannah?
I don't really know either.
Just make something up to sound good. Make it sound good. I know that you've had some hard times, even though you are 30 looking 12. But sometimes I think friendships break and disappear and people leave your life, and it's hard, isn't it? I mean, it is hard. I know even like as a family, when we've lost, say, my mum, that was a really hard time for all of us as a family. It doesn't necessarily have to be a church thing, you know. It can be like a normal thing. Like you haven't been able to get your nails done, and that's been really hard. Or the hair dyed, or you know, or the eyelashes. That's been a hard thing, right? Dave's been talking, hasn't he, about blessing in disguise. So, we thought we'd just ask a couple of questions about what's the best thing about lockdown, maybe something that's turned into a blessing in disguise, because this situation we wouldn't have normally been in, would we? We certainly wouldn't be in the house 24/7 for 10 weeks or so. And so what has anything happened that you could say it's been a really good thing?
I've probably learned to just be myself. Like, I don't really
like your makeup and everything.
That kind of thing. Like even clothes. I might have felt self-conscious, and I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like if people judge, let them.
Yeah.
Well, you'll see
Family.
family. Yeah, just do what you want. As just the furthest trip out you've ever had in the last 10 weeks. It's such a happy life. What about you?
What was the question?
Right, watch my lips. What's probably the best thing about being in lockdown that you've...
I think not rushing around.
Yeah.
Like, I'm out of the house usually 7:30 in the morning till 5:30, 6 at night.
Yeah.
Stuck on the metro.
Yeah, on a metro.
Yeah, I get that.
Enjoy just being at home.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? I'm enjoying that, although I've been at work the whole time. But I'm enjoying half-term week. Now then, we got from you both what you found hard about being a pastor's kid, being in the pastor's family. One of these days, I would hope when lockdowns eased a little bit, that I could maybe ask Dan the same questions, and we can show this, because Perfect Child would have different answers.
You'd have Bible verses.
Church.
Yeah. But what has been the best thing, do you think, both of you, about being a pastor's kid, being part of the pastor's family?
I think sometimes we've had opportunities that we probably wouldn't get.
Yeah.
So, for instance, 1 year staying at the Four Seasons, probably would never be able to do that because it's like cost a fortune.
Yeah, but we were blessed with that.
Yeah,
we were gifted it, weren't we, as a family. Hillsong Church massively blessed us 1 year when we really couldn't afford conference, and so we ended up staying in the Four Seasons Hotel, which is normally a bit better than our travel lodge that we normally stay. So that's good, isn't it? Yeah, that was a blessing that we wouldn't normally have had. Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. What about you? I think I know this answer.
I have one that comes to mind straight away. So well before Callum, don't need to worry. Got to go in the green. Is it the green?
Yeah, the green.
Yeah, it's Hillsong Conference, and my dad introduced us to Joel Houston,
Woo!
who at the time I thought was my future husband. God had a plan.
God intervened.
So she's still got a 6'5" guy, tattoos, plays a guitar, just a different name. Yeah, that's really good. Just kind of as we come to the end, really, is there anything that you think you've learned from maybe the hard experiences? Maybe, I know you, Grace, was saying that you don't feel like you've had many hard experiences, but is there anything that you've learned, even, in this last few months, about anything? What did you say that you found hard about being a pastor's kid? You found hard criticism.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think I'm answering the question on your behalf. Because you're no, I really don't know. I think you've grown a lot. I think you've grown a lot spiritually. I think you've grown a lot in confidence. I mean, you would not have been seen out without your makeup on, would you?
No.
No
way.
makeup on, so that's quite a good thing.
No.
Anything else, or
Not
we'll
really.
just pass on to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? Oh, what was it again? She's got memory loss. Talks about me being old.
Attention
Like,
span.
isn't it? Have you learned anything from any of the hard stuff that you've been through?
Think how maybe just how to toughen up.
Yeah.
And I guess during this time, you know who your proper friends are. You know, people who ask how you are, and yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
That.
Really good.
No, I've found personally, I agree with that. I'm known as an encourager, and it's not a difficult thing for me to be an encourager. But I have found over this time, not many people have maybe encouraged me, and you have to learn just to be okay with that, because not everybody is like that, and you just got to learn to be okay.
Yeah.
So as far as At Home with the Matthews
That's
girls,
great.
this is the end. I'm going to pass back to the very Reverend, and he can just say goodbye and finish off, and then we'll move on. Sit on there. You can sit in front of me.
Is that good? Is that good? It is the camera, honestly. It's the camera. It's not the. It's the camera. Are you good, Dan? You all right tonight, Dan? Hey, we miss you all. We'll be praying for you this week. Take God's message and God's word to your hearts tonight. We look forward to seeing this in the morning. It's going to be exciting words in the morning. Until then, stay safe. We're praying for you. God bless you. See you soon. Bye.